Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Good to be back. For us, it's been kind of a time jump here because, we batch record these sometimes. And, it's been like good several weeks.
Yeah.
We're now 36 weeks pregnant right now. So we're in that phase now where every time we mention to somebody what our due date is, they're like, oh, that's soon. Like, why
we're
do you have to respond like that?
I mean, it is true.
Mm-hmm.
We're mostly ready, I think.
Yep.
We've been doing tons of classes on birth and meeting with our doula and getting the nursery ready, and it's been a blur. It's been busy.
I'd say we're ready in that if we're to arrive, we'd be fine. We'd make it. We'd make it. I'd say we're about 90-95%.
But I'd like a little more time.
Of where, well, I was going to say about 90-95% of like where we want to be, like ideal in terms of making sure everything is decluttered and,
all the nesting things.
All the nesting things, the essentials are done.
Yes.
Now it's just like a couple extra things here and there. And
yep.
Yeah, but everything's looking good. Everything's going healthy and well. Had the flu for a week there.
Oh
that really sucked over New Year's. So hopefully you guys all had better New Year's than us. We spent it
in bed.
In bed with fever, watching Stranger Things.
That's how we spent our New Year's. It was not ideal. And then spent the week watching Modern Family and
which was a good pick-me-up. And Shrinking. That was also good.
Yes, that's
true. So Modern Family was shut off your brain. Let's just
laugh.
And just laugh.
Yeah, we laughed a lot watching
as we coughed.
Laughing, and we both had been coughing fits. We're like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
But we made it. We're out of that now, so thank goodness.
Mm-hmm. And we also just got done with the Duluth Wedding Show. For those who don't know, we are wedding videographers, and we always have a booth at the Duluth Wedding Show, meeting lots of different couples and hearing about their weddings and what their plans are for it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that was good. It was a lot of prep work for that, so that's fun.
So now we're at the point now where we just kind of settle in and work out this final stretch of pregnancy.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you're not here for that. You're here for positive stories,
which we got some good ones today. Today is all about giving people a chance. And what I mean by that, and what this episode is going to be really about, is about not rushing to anger when someone does something that upsets you or comes off really bad or whatever it may be. And there's going to be times where people do things that are crappy and they maybe were malicious in intent. And that is awful, obviously. But there are sometimes where there's misunderstanding, and what you think their intention was might not be actually what they intended. Or maybe they didn't realize that it was going to affect you that much. And then once they do, they are apologetic. And so not burning a bridge before you hear somebody out, or before you allow them to say their piece or apologize or respond in a way that's better than how they initially did something. So that's kind of what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. I think that I heard that's also where the actual expression of revenge is the dish best served cold. It's not. It actually, I just heard this somewhere. I don't know if it's actually how true it is, but the idea is actually what it means is that, you wait until you cool down.
Yes.
So you're more level-headed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you respond
Before
and
you
react.
respond. That's why sometimes it's good to have a cooling down period.
Because our knee-jerk reaction isn't always the best reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about
not
that a lot.
That's always wrong.
Here. No, it might not always be wrong. And there are times and places to get upset and call someone out on something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be an episode talking about some times where that wasn't the case, or there was a misunderstanding, or there was something else at play that they didn't expect. And had they responded in anger more than they did, it might have caused a damage to a relationship or a moment that would not have been necessary to have happened if they would have handled it better. So we're going to start out in the subreddit Best of Redditor Updates. This was originally posted in Am I the A, or Am I in the Wrong? And so the title of this was, Am I in the wrong for refusing to make any more meals for my girlfriend after she kept complaining about my cooking? So
Have I heard this story before?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It sounds familiar.
Unless you read it somewhere.
Like on a different show, maybe?
Maybe. It's possible.
I
I
don't know.
haven't heard
Like
it
Two
before.
Hot Takes or Smosh?
Maybe. It wasn't on Smosh, but
okay.
maybe Two Hot Takes, maybe. I haven't
don't
heard
know.
it.
Maybe.
But it's an interesting one. Here we go. Things have been great with my girlfriend for the most part. We, 28 female, 26 male, have been together 4 years and living together for 2. Lately, there's been some tension, so I feel like maybe that's why things may have boiled over. We both work a lot, so we both have been very cranky and moody, especially my girlfriend, who's snapped at me a few times and been in a really bad mood. For the past few days, what's really set her off is my cooking. I'm usually the one making breakfast, packing her lunches, and dinner. Literally, any time I've been at the stove, she complains about how bad the smell is and gives me crap about using stuff that has obviously gone bad according to her. Or saying it tastes like crap, won't even finish eating. This has ticked me off. I'm not a chef, but I do pride myself in my cooking, and she's talking about how bad my food is. I've had my coworkers try my lunch and they tell me it tastes just fine. I figured with all the stress she's under at work, she probably needed an outlet to let out her frustration, and maybe that's why she's giving me crap about simple things. I don't know. But I snapped a little this morning when again she complained about the omelet I was making us. So I actually dumped the eggs in the trash, told her she can make her own dang breakfast for herself then, and I'm not cooking for her anymore if she's going to keep acting spoiled about what I make. We ended up having an argument over this and we left for work mad. Anyways, my girlfriend didn't come home and her sister called me. My girlfriend's mad at me and her sister thought I was being a dick for reacting so immaturely by refusing to cook for her anymore when I know she works a lot, so sometimes she doesn't have the time to prep her own meals. I don't know why this has turned into a bigger deal here, but I'm sitting here at home wondering if I was being in the wrong for losing my cool and telling her I'm not cooking for her. I just didn't think it's fair for her to be talking crap about my cooking when she never has before and thought, well, if she doesn't like it, then she can take over the kitchen. Was I in the wrong? So that's the post.
Okay, I definitely have not heard this story before, so maybe the title was just similar to another one I've heard. But
yeah, so what's your initial reaction from that? Not knowing.
I don't think he's in the wrong. Like, that was an understandably frustrated response. You know, I don't even think, like, he's wrong to respond the way he did. I mean, he's obviously this continues to be an issue that she keeps doing. And especially if, like, it's not, I was wondering for a minute there if it was like, oh, like, is it like she doesn't want him to cook for him, but he keeps insisting upon it maybe? But it sounds like she relies on him to cook for her, but yet is responding this way to him.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't sound like, and we're only hearing one side of the story here.
True.
So who's to say, like, how accurate it is, like, the perception of how aggressive she's being with these comments,
right.
You know, if they are actually more constructive and he's just not taking it that way, or if they are indeed, like, not being constructive at all. They're just, like, digs and digs, which maybe it is just her lashing out at him and taking out stress on him, which that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kind of goes back to, like, a much older episode we've done called Honest Communication, that, again, you got to communicate. And if that is what's going on here, she's not really communicating it, you know?
Yep.
And if it is really just about the food, she's not communicating it in a healthy way.
Right.
So I'm not surprised he got to this point, you know? It's not like he, like, threw him in the trash and started, like, name calling her and, like, lashing out in that sense. Like, he definitely lashed out and
told her to make her own dang food.
Yeah, like, he was, but it was like a focused one. It was like, I feel like when it gets bad is when, like, you start, like, elevating to the point of, like, saying, like, name calling or putting them down. You know, he definitely responded in anger.
Yeah,
but it was focused and, like,
in the situation.
It was, it didn't branch out to, like, well, I just suck then.
Well, you're ungrateful. Or,
like, oh, you just hate me.
Yeah.
You know, like, he kept it focused on that particular issue.
Right.
Which was good. So, again, if assuming this is all, like, true.
It is hard to hear for him, I'm sure, too, to hear that she's going to talking about him behind his back to her sister, too.
Right.
That's rough.
Then she's giving her own perception and stuff,
right? You know, and bringing in other people then makes things bigger than it is sometimes, and can make things more complicated. So so it's definitely messy. The verdict from the comments was not enough info to make a judgment.
That's honestly probably kind of fair.
Yeah,
because like, one thing I'd also say is, like, because he made the point about, oh, well, my coworkers like it. Well, food is preference. It's a matter of preference. Like, you know, it's like the idea of, like, customers always right. That was contextually in the point of, like, food, like things you consume is different, like, to your perception.
True.
You know, like, right for me is not what's right for you, but it is right for me. So I'm correct in
Right.
thinking what's right for me in terms of my taste or what you like or don't like.
Exactly.
But there's still a healthier way to, again, assuming everything he's saying is like the correct perception, there's still a nicer way to say it, like hey, this tastes kind of salty or what. I can't remember what the exact
She was saying that the products taste like they're bad. Like they like actually were expired or something. Is what she's saying. Or they smell like they're bad while he's cooking it.
I mean, they could just check the expiration dates quick.
That is also fair.
Or maybe there's something concerning going on with her taste buds, if everything to her is tasting rotten, if they indeed are not rotten.
Right.
Or if they have a bad refrigerator.
Do you want to go into some comments here?
Sure.
All right. So, someone quoted him and says, "She complains about how bad the smell is and gives me crap about using stuff that has obviously gone bad according to her, or say it tastes like crap and won't even finish eating." And they said, "Are you sure she's not pregnant?" To which OOP said, "I ... did not think about that, honestly." So then someone else said, "Not in the wrong, just a thought, but my wife's sense of smell became mega acute when she fell pregnant. Any chance?" To which OOP said, "Wait, does that really happen with smell? Because I thought it was just morning sickness and stuff that you get at first."
Oh,
to which
buddy,
someone said,
no.
"Not everyone gets morning sickness. My wife just had this hypersensitivity to smells. Frying onions made her want to hurl, and pre-pregnancy, she loved that smell." To which OOP goes, "Wow, okay. That actually makes sense thinking about it. I don't know for sure though, but I'm gonna have to talk to her. That's so crazy. I honestly had no clue about the smell thing." To which someone said, "Yep, I'm currently pregnant and only 11 weeks. All the foods I once loved, I can't stand the taste or smell of right now. My poor fiance has had to cook the majority of the meals we eat because I can't stand the smell when he's cooking. And I can't eat most of what he cooks either, as it makes me sick, so a lot of it ends up in the bin. This has been going on since I was around 5 weeks pregnant." To which OOP says, "Crap, I really need to call her before I get myself too excited over nothing, lol. Thanks for this info. I'm feeling kind of stupid for not knowing it. I know people have said it could also be COVID or some other medical issue. Seriously doubt I'm using anything expired since we always check for that stuff and I haven't changed anything in my cooking. This is the first time she's ever complained about anything that I make."
I guess I did miss the detail about, this is a recent development that
Right.
she didn't always hate his cooking.
No, this is in the last little bit here.
I wouldn't think it's COVID because COVID's more of a lack of taste. I will say one thing that sucked for me, during when we had our flu recently, everything, and I've never experienced before, everything tasted bitter.
Which I heard from my friend that had it
horrible.
too. My friend said that too.
And it was the exact same thing when I had my yogurt in the morning. I was like, "Is this bad now?"
Yeah.
And everything tastes like it was expired and horrible.
My friend
for
said
a few
that
days. That was one of the worst things I've ever had.
Yeah, my friend said on Christmas when she was at her mom had baked a bunch of stuff and she was trying them. And she was like, "These all taste like they have expired ingredients in them. Are you guys sure that you didn't use something expired?" And they were like, "No, it tastes normal to us." And she was like, "Oh, it's just me." And then she realized it was everything she ate was bitter. So yeah, apparently it's a common thing with this influenza A going around.
Yeah.
That it makes everything taste bitter.
But I definitely knew I had the flu. So
yeah, it was no question for you.
I doubt that's the situation here because unless that was a really big detail left out, was that she actually was suffering from the flu.
Unless it could be a medical issue. You never know.
That too,
So here we go. This is the next update. Ready?
Okay.
So they said, "Well, crap. This is way too many responses for me. Most of it is pointing out some obvious crap that it didn't even hit me until y'all mentioned it. It was super late when I posted this, and I was going to wait until morning to talk to her. I had a missed call from my girlfriend, so I called her back. Totally different tune this time. My girlfriend was really apologetic about the way she was acting and didn't realize how she was being, her words, she was being a bee, which is what she said. Her words, not mine, I swear, until she talked more with her sister. Apparently, her sister didn't have the full details of the fight. My girlfriend was just extremely upset, and while she told her what we fought about, I guess the state my girlfriend was in at the moment made her think the fight was a lot bigger than it actually was. Hence her reaction. I said my piece to her. It wasn't cool being used as her punching bag, and I don't deserve that kind of disrespect from her. Especially when I'm here cooking meals for both of us. My girlfriend was really understanding of that, and we both agreed to talk stuff out instead of letting it boil up to the point where we're both snapping at each other. Okay, so getting back to what everyone's been wanting to hear, my girlfriend got home, and I decided to bring up her issues with the smell thing, praying to God she wouldn't rip my head off for implying she was only mad because of hormones. Her reaction was priceless, though, because clearly she didn't think about that either. So, yep, we took a quick trip to CVS and got us a couple of tests just to be sure. We came home, and yep, they're positive. Holy crap. I can't believe you guys were right about that. I'm feeling like a bit of a dummy for not knowing that, lol. But anyways, yeah, we're pregnant and we're freaked out and super excited. My girl for sure cried, and okay, me too a little bit. She's calling her doctor to make an appointment though, just to be sure. But yeah, for right now, looks like we got a little squish on the way, and I can't stop thinking about it. It's too crazy. I know lots of you keep asking, so there's your update. This has been a freaking roller coaster.
I will say, despite the issue that they were having and the fight itself, I could tell that this was like a fairly strong relationship.
Yes.
At least on his end, knowing that like when it was suggested they might make pregnant, and his responses were actually pretty good.
Excited, yeah.
If they had a rock relationship, I feel like there'd be a lot more panic. Like, oh no.
Yeah,
no,
right.
we cannot be pregnant. Oh, please, God, tell me that we're not. Oh God,
right.
But no, you actually like. I don't want to get too excited.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
so like that clearly that's something that they've thought about, or
yes.
you know, are open to in that relationship. You know.
Yes. So. And again, like, this is a great example of not always knowing the full context of a situation. Like, and this can go for so many things, not just in relationships, but with strangers too, where like someone might respond when you're like working customer service, or you are a customer and the person across the counter is just kind of snippy, or is not super friendly, or is just not responding in a way that you like would expect someone to respond. There might be something context-wise that you don't know what's going on. Maybe they're pregnant and they're having a really rough time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have a medical issue that is making them feel like crap that day. Maybe they had really bad news like 10 minutes ago that they just have to get back to work and go work through. Like, you don't know what the context is all the time, you know? And so not immediately rushing to, well, they're just a terrible person, or wow, they're awful now and I hate them. Like, you know, like, don't always rush to the worst case scenario and write somebody off because you don't know the context.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's stuff that you just don't know.
Yeah, this made me think of I know there's real life examples, but it made me think of there's an episode in Ted Lasso that kind of covers that, with Roy and one of the teammates that like lashes out at a fan that's in the crowd that says something that's really kind of offensive and triggers him, and then Roy gives the press conference. And if you know the show, Roy's not like the kind of guy to give press conferences, but he tells a story about, you know, a teammate he knew where he made a stupid joke to him. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to actually watch it and stuff, but the dude like assaults Roy, and then like learns a long time later that something really deep and personal was going on in his life, that joke really cut too wrong deep. And Roy laying out the like what he did was not okay, but like you gotta be mindful of the things you say and do, because no one knows what's going on in each other's lives.
Exactly. Yep. Give a beat. Give some grace.
But imagine Roy saying it.
Be careful, because you don't know what's going on in someone's life.
Nope.
So yeah, interesting story started out. Little plot twist there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Another one here. It's another story. Comes from the subreddit Random Acts of Kindness, and it is titled "A Customer Apologized for Overreacting and Hugged Me." Here we go.
Okay, that's kind of
refreshing.
Rare
and
refreshing. I feel like usually when customers have lashed out with us, they usually double down, or if they realize they're wrong, they just kind of scurry away and you never hear from them again.
Yeah, I have actually had a couple of times though where a customer was snippy or rude to me and then came back and apologized. So it does happen. It does happen sometimes. So this is what it says. This actually happened to me a while ago, but it's something I think about often, and it's been especially on my mind tonight, so I really wanted to share it. It starts out a little rocky, but I promise it has a happy ending. When I was working alone at a small laundromat, an elderly man came in and tried to request a wash rag from me to clean his hands before handling his clothes. The interaction was very stressful, as he was grumpy and unclear about what he needed, and my attempts to understand him better were met with obvious frustration from him. Long story short, he said something that was extremely unkind to me, and I wound up hiding and crying in the office. While I was back there, I could still see out to the main laundry area and the parking lot. The man went out and sat in his truck for a while, and I saw that he had a dog with him. He pet the dog and seemed to be talking to it. Then he came back in, walked over to the door of the office, and knocked on it. I tried to act like I hadn't been crying, but I'm a hard crier, so it's obviously pretty obvious. He looked at me and said, "Miss, I'm very sorry. I'm not at my best today, and you didn't deserve any of that. I'm ashamed of myself." I told him it was okay, but his apology made me even more emotional, so I started crying again, and then I apologized to him for crying. And he said, "Don't you apologize because some guy was a jerk to you. You have every right to be upset. Then he asked if he could give me a hug. I stepped out of the office and we stood there hugging, and he started crying as well. We sat down together and talked until his laundry was done. He told me that he'd lost his wife just a few weeks earlier and he wasn't handling it very well. I held his hand and we cried together again before he got his clothes together and left. I think about him a lot. That apology and that conversation that followed meant the world to me and has helped in ways I couldn't even have predicted since. It restored my faith in people. Wherever he is now, I hope he knows that. Yeah.
A little bit of empathy goes a long way.
Right. And again, you don't know what's going on in someone's life. He had lost his wife a few weeks ago and was not handling it well, which, understandable. Like, I've witnessed a few people that have lost, like, a partner and stuff, and when you've, built such a foundation together, like, that really rocks your entire world in existence, and, like, I can't even imagine. So, understandable that you're not going to respond to things great, and you might be snippier or more moody or whatever, but huge of this man to go back and apologize. That takes a lot of strength and a lot of bravery to do. So, but again, if she had responded badly to that and been like, you're a jerk, and yelled at him, there could have been consequences with her job, for one. Number two, he might not have reflected himself and had that moment of, wow, that was really uncool of me. I was the bad guy in that situation. And then it could have, instead of having this beautiful moment, it could have turned into a shouting match, and it would not have resolved, and neither of them would have had that catharsis moment. So it's important to take a moment and not allow yourself to knee-jerk react, as I talked about earlier. But yeah.
Side note, that's made me think it'd be fun to have an episode that's themed around the idea, like, am I the bad guy?
Am I the
am I the drama?
Am I the drama?
No, actually, I think that'd be kind of a fun episode. Like, am I the bad guy? Or it's like all stories of them realizing, yeah, I was wrong.
I was in the wrong.
I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, that would be actually interesting. Taking accountability would be an interesting episode. All right, on to our next story here. This one comes from the subreddit Best of Redditor Updates. This story is titled, Single Father, 38 Male, with Daughter, 17 Female, discovered she has a large amount of cash, and I am suspicious. Here we go.
Where'd you get the cash? In the cash sale.
Here we go. I am a concerned father of a 17-year-old daughter seeking advice. Names have been changed to maintain some confidentiality. My background info. My wife passed away when my daughter was very young. I was still in college, but with the help of my parents, I managed to finish college and graduate school while raising her.
I don't appreciate 2 dead wife stories in a row here.
I'm sorry. I've dated a few times since the death of my wife, but I haven't been able to maintain a serious relationship due to my career and the responsibilities of raising my daughter. My relationship with my daughter, Sarah, has always been very good. Sarah shared my love of the outdoors, so we used to go hiking, kayaking, and camping together quite often. In the last year or so, she seemed to become interested in other activities at school, so she hasn't spent as much time with me. I'm perfectly okay with that. She's growing up and coming into her own. Financially, we're very secure. I've been fortunate to make a nice living in a career that I enjoy, and the hours are pretty manageable. Despite that, I've tried not to spoil my daughter and make sure that she understands the importance of work. In exchange for an allowance in gas money, she has to complete chores around the house, as well as help our elderly neighbor, she's in her 90s, with things like taking out the trash, getting groceries, etc. She's an A student, participates well in school activities, and used to be a Girl Scout until she was 14. Honestly, I've always been very proud of her. She was out with her friends Saturday to watch a movie. I had a contractor come over to replace a couple of windows in the house while she was out. Now, I've always respected her space, and she knew about this beforehand. I ended up having to move around some of the furniture in her room, and I discovered a small box behind her drawers. Curiosity got the best of me, and I opened it after the contractor was done, and there was about $3,000 in cash inside. That's way too much money for her to have. After this discovery, I snooped around her room for a bit and found some expensive, brand-name clothing in her closet that I had never seen her wear before. Some were a bit too mature for my taste, but that's a discussion for another day. Since then, I've double-checked my accounts to see if she had secretly taken money from my accounts, but no. I never carry much cash on me, so she couldn't have stolen it from me. I don't think she's selling drugs, because I've never found a stash in her room. She's not dating anybody as far as I know, so it couldn't be a boyfriend's money either. I haven't discussed the discovery with her yet, but I intend to do it tonight. Any advice on how to approach the subject with her? $3,000 is a lot of money for her age, and I imagine she's spent more, so we could be talking about $5,000 to $6,000 here. I don't want to be too confrontational here, and I would like a way to bring up the subject so she feels safe enough to be completely honest with me. I'm so worried. I keep hoping she isn't caught up in something illegal that could jeopardize her future. Maybe I overlooked some signs? I'm freaking out and I'm looking for your help here.
Well, $3,000 is a lot of money for even adults. I'm just gonna say that, especially
just having cash, yeah.
I've never had that much cash
just
on
cash,
me.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's a lot in cash.
Yeah, it's true.
And just a lot of money in general.
Yeah, so I get his concern for sure, being like, how is she getting this? To which someone asking if she has like a part-time job or something, and he said no, she's never had a part-time job.
And even if it was, they don't pay in cash normally. They'd write the checks, you know.
Yeah. So someone said, does she work? I worked from the time I was 15, and I saved up enough money by the time I was 18 to buy myself a computer, a very nice film camera, and plane tickets and rent for an apartment. If she's been working, that's really not that much money. Either way, I think you need to just ask her about it and don't come from an accusatory place. And if she responds in a secretive/angry way, you know something weird's going on. If she's calm and has a reasonable explanation for it, you know she's probably telling the truth. To which the dad says, my daughter doesn't have a part-time job. She does have a savings account that I opened for her with about $1,200 in it, which is why I'm worried that she's keeping this money secret. She's accessed her savings account before to buy things like a new phone and a camera, as well as gifts and other smaller purchases. She gets $50 a week in allowance, but if she wants to buy electronics or other things that she wants, it comes out of her savings. Any expenditure from extracurricular activities also comes out of her allowance. As for the neighbor, I've told her before that she does not have to give my daughter anything for helping out since I'm already paying her via allowance. So, yeah. Also, the clothing were really high-end brands like Gucci and Versace. I think that's how you say it.
No idea.
By mature, I didn't mean revealing or anything like that. It just didn't seem like clothing a 17-year-old would want to wear. Also, I know $50 seems like a lot, but we live in an expensive city. The cheapest takeout place near me costs like $9 just for lunch. And as for my neighbor, she might be 90, but her mind is pretty sharp. I don't know why, but I didn't think about her slipping my daughter cash here and there, so that's a possibility. The more I think about it, the calmer I'm feeling. I'll talk to her tonight and explain the circumstances of my discovery and take it from there. So that's what the comments revealed.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into the update?
Yeah, probably. I don't have an idea of what this could be, but, approach it from a place of empathy and
not accusatory
and concern,
right off the gate.
or angry.
Right, because you don't want to come off like you're snooping and that you don't trust them.
And if she lashes out just out of fear or whatever, like, don't match it.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, on to the update. I had a long talk with my daughter Sarah that night. I sat her down and I described the circumstances of the discovery. I explained that I was worried because it's a large sum of money and I didn't want her savings to be stolen. Well, turns out the elderly neighbor Anne has been giving her cash for the better part of a year now. Anne wanted her to have the money to help with college expenses and told Sarah to keep it a secret from me because I've always refused to accept money from her. Sarah also told me that part of the money was her own. She had been saving up for my birthday present and didn't want to put it in the savings account because, well, she'd have to ask me and it wouldn't be a surprise anymore. Later in the conversation, I brought up the expensive clothing. Those were throwaways from her friend's mother. Her friend is really tall, so she couldn't wear them and gave them to Sarah instead. They needed some slight alterations, so she hasn't worn them yet. I apologized for snooping, and I explained that as a father, I was obviously concerned for her well-being. I also assured her that we are financially stable and that I've put aside enough money for her college expenses. I told her to keep an eye out for Anne to make sure that her welfare is not being affected by the money she's paying Sarah. Also, I asked her to write a thank you card to her friend's mom and to include a present for her at Christmas this year. After the revelations, I wanted to reward her for her saving habit, so I offered to start a checking account for her, and we looked into the options online. Turns out the bank I use offers a junior checking, which I can co-sign for overdraft fees, etc., for her. It turns into her own personal account at age 18. She'll have the use of a debit card. The bank also offers an online-based financial planning guide, so she'll read that before starting the account. We're going to the local branch to set that up for her this weekend. Sarah seemed to reflect well to our talk. She took the opportunity to reveal that she had been in a relationship for a couple of months. I've actually met her girlfriend a few times before. They go to the same school, and I just thought they were good friends, so that was a surprise. So yes, she came out of the closet to me.
Okay.
Being a dad, I still verified the clothing story with her friend's mom. Overall, I'm happy it was just me dramatically overreacting. However, I do feel rather guilty for the minor panic attack I had. As a parent, it's astonishing sometimes how quickly your child grows up. Just another part of the learning process, I guess. P.S. I didn't reduce her allowance, but I did encourage her to keep saving because it's an excellent habit.
Okay. The only step I'd add, which I don't think was in there, was check with Anne, the neighbor,
Yeah.
to make sure that that's true, and have a conversation with her about it,
That's fair.
It doesn't have to
It
be
makes
like a
sense,
big
though.
conversation. Just dot your I's and stuff, but it sounds like it's on the up and up.
Yeah, it sounds like it's all good. And I mean, the fact that his daughter also like told him about her girlfriend and stuff like that too, like that sounded like it was a very open, honest conversation.
Yeah.
And like it sounds like everything was very on the up and up, and like she wasn't making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he did verify the clothing, that was true. So like I think it's all good to go. And it sounds like it was the conversation came from a good place. It sounds like he didn't come off accusatory, because she would not have responded that way if he did. And so yeah, like they both were able to be honest with each other, which is super cool. And now she has a checking account, so she doesn't have to have $3,000 cash just sitting around, because that could get stolen or things could happen to it. Like, so all in all, it benefits everybody. So positive conversation. Dad didn't jump to, hey, where are you getting this money from? Are you selling drugs? Or like go jumping to the worst conclusions. I mean, he kind of did, but he took a moment
in his head,
but he didn't accuse her, and he sought other people's opinions first of, how do I approach this? Am I overreacting? What are some other possibilities here that aren't bad before I address this, so I can calm down a little bit? And that's a good place to come from too. So all in all, a positive, happy ending.
Yeah.
All right, our next story here comes from BORU Updates, which is Best of Redder Updates, just a different page. And this one is titled, Found a Strange Note Written by My Husband. How do I address it? This was originally posted in Marriage.
Okay.
Here we go.
How strange are we talking?
We'll see. My husband, 28, and I, 27 female, have been married for 5 years now, and overall it's been a very good relationship. I'll cut to the chase. Today, I was cleaning the house and found a torn piece of notebook paper on the floor. I opened it up, and there's a note in my husband's handwriting that says, Hey, my dearest, want to meet up late tonight? I have something special planned, XOXOXO. It's possible he wrote this for me, and I just don't remember it, but leaving me notes isn't really something he'd do. He also keeps a lot of notebooks/keepsakes from his high school years, so it's also possible this was from that time period, but I don't know how something like that would end up torn out and on the floor. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I find this very strange, and I need advice on how to approach this. What should I do?
I don't think it'd be anything bad. It seems very random to have that there if it was intended for somebody else at that time.
Right.
Why would it be there of all places?
Right.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not really suspicious in that regard.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that this is a positive podcast, and usually I don't think usually it's that. But put that aside, just hearing that, I'm like, that seems like an odd thing.
Like that's
be different if it was like in his office or something that she happened to be stopping by or something, or I don't know. That just seems like a weird place to have that.
Right. Agreed.
Unless it was somebody else's handwriting and it was left for him, and like it fell out of his pocket or something. But it was clearly his handwriting, so that doesn't track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so ready for the update? A few hours later. Y'all, I showed my husband the note and he immediately bursted out laughing. He helped run a murder mystery dinner last month and the note was part of the game. I honestly feel so stupid now, but I started laughing too, and then we put the note up on the fridge. Someone said, were you not part of the murder mystery? And OOP says, no, I wasn't. He told me about it, but I had something else going on. So yeah, that's what it was. Another person chimed in and said, many years ago and a couple of wives ago, my then girlfriend angrily confronted me with a note she found written in a girl's handwriting that said, I've had the time of my life. As it turns out, back in the day, I was a wedding DJ, and it was a song request from a bridesmaid. So I can relate to OP. As I recall, my first reaction also was to laugh. So things happen.
Yeah.
Don't always rush to worst case scenario or worst conclusions.
It's always helpful when his reaction is immediate laughter.
To laugh. It's like, okay, clearly there's something
well,
wrong.
actually,
Making
to have
excuses.
That, but have that immediate reaction.
Right.
It's always promising.
Exactly. So, not always rushing to anger. Being, what is this?
And again, contextually, just wouldn't make sense for it to be.
Exactly.
Like what you would think the worst case scenario would be. I don't know. Unless you're just really dumb.
Agreed. All right, so on to our news article for today. This one comes from cbc.ca, and it is titled, Alabamian who mistakenly, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, who mistakenly ordered from NS Burger Joint sends cash and apology by mail. So, basically what happened is a couple from Alabama accidentally sent requests for some burgers from Bentley's Burgers and Fries, a restaurant in Nova Scotia, in Canada, thinking it was a restaurant that was near them that they were placing the order to, but it wasn't. They called the wrong number. They placed the order, didn't pay over the phone because they were going to pay in cash, and didn't show up at the restaurant for the food. And so the food just ended up not being taken, and they didn't get paid for it, the restaurant owners, for the food. So, bad situation, obviously. It was 2 cheeseburgers and a fry that were ordered by phone on October 1st at the restaurant. And then the next day, they actually got, or not the next day, but a few days later, they get a letter in the mail addressed October 2nd, so like the next day that it was sent out, and says, "To whom it may concern, I placed a call-in order for 2 single burgers and 2 fries on October 1st. I was unable to pick up the food because I live in the U.S. Obviously, I called the wrong restaurant. I hope that the amount enclosed is enough to cover the cost of my embarrassing mistake. My sincere apologies, God bless," and then put $40 in there. In fact, says the owner Laura, it was enough to cover the order and then some. They said, "Me and the husband have an ice cream shop that we run in the summer, so we're just going to put the remainder of that money into the ice cream shop and give out free ice cream to the kids that come by in the summer," she said.
That's nice.
Another thing, so the owners, Darcy and Laura, posted about the letter on their company's Facebook page, where Laura said it was seen more than 80,000 times. And every single comment was, "God bless them." And what's cool, so they wanted them to see, like, owning up to that mistake and doing that gesture of sending the money and not just being like, oops, and never sending the money or doing anything. They wanted to show the couple from Alabama how nice that was that they did that and how positive of an impact it had on the people that saw it on their Facebook. So they sent a Christmas package to their return address that was on the envelope from the note, with all the positive comments that were on the Facebook about it. So they photocopied the comments from the Facebook, put them in there, put some stickers from their restaurant and some of their seasonings that they use into a little package and sent it to them for Christmas. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. And like, not, again, like they could have been really ticked off and be like, wow, did someone place a prank order? Or like, what the heck? They didn't pay for their meal. Like, what is going on? Like, rude, they could have gotten super angry. But, it was an honest mistake. And the couple sent money in the mail and they apologized. And it made a huge impact on a lot of people that saw these people take accountability and do something like that. So, positive all around.
Yeah, and they kind of paid it forward.
Exactly.
Giving free ice cream to kids.
Exactly. So, anyways, there's some fun stories for the episode that I thought would, I don't know, restore some faith in humanity, that even when things seem bad or seem scary.
We can use that sometimes.
Yes. That sometimes we just need to take a beat. Give people a chance. So, with that, we will end today's podcast episode. Tune in next time for our next episode, which is all about boosting others up. So that'll be a fun one. If you have any positive stories that you'd like to share that we could put on this podcast, please send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com, and we'd love to share them.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment. And just as a programming note, we've mentioned before earlier in this episode, we batch record. We're really trying to batch record right now and really work ahead because we're coming up to the point where we're not going to want to be recording new episodes for a bit as we welcome our new child into the world and we both take off some leave and stuff. So we're going to try to work ahead as much as we can, both in terms of like filming. So we're going to have episodes go beyond our due date with, us still being pregnant, so don't be alarmed if you see us beyond that date still being pregnant on the show. And also don't be terribly alarmed if it were to happen where an episode gets missed or something, or an episode runs a week later than it
Hopefully
normally would.
not,
Hopefully not. But you know, if it happens, know that it is because we have a child and we're trying to manage all that. So
yeah,
bear with us with that. Our hope is to work far enough ahead where that won't be an issue. But you know,
life happens.
Life happens.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope you'll tune in a couple weeks here.
And stay positive.